So we got this new hat coming out. Essentially a photograph that I took of some plants that were grown by a friend of mine, and I made a repeat out of it. It's almost like a camouflage or like a real tree, but it's a photo of cannabis. We sampled up a jersey with this same repeat pattern that looks fantastic, but my business partner is a little reluctant for us to go into production with it because he's not sure if it's gonna sell or not. He thinks it might be a little loud, which I agree. I think it's a little loud, and I'm not 100% sure if people are gonna buy into it or not either. So for the jersey to come to life, we're using this cap as a kind of a barometer to see if you guys out there are actually interested in this type of pattern. Because if the cap does well, then we'll end up producing the jersey, which I would love to see happen. It's a pretty cool pattern. It's a little bit radical in the world of cycling, which I think is always a good thing. Cannabis is a pretty powerful thing, and I think it works very well for cyclists. I don't know, maybe there's enough of us out there that are into this stuff, and maybe there's not. Only time will tell. So I got this 29er for all the crazy rides that happen around here, and also just a way to have a different kind of ride experience. It's a Ritchey Rigid 29er. I wasn't quite ready to go to like hardtail or full suspension. I'm like more of a drop bar kind of a rider. This is already branching out for me. But the thing I noticed real quick with these things is that their fenders are super hard to find for them, which is a pain in the ass because a lot of times you ride them in very dirty conditions. But I found these fenders called mud huggers. They're from the UK and they're kind of hard to find, but there is a distributor here in the US called Cyclist. They're pretty legit actually. They make the bike look a little like moto, but I guess the bike already kind of looks that way anyways, so whatever. Less like mud all over the place, so I'm fine with that. They're super easy to mount up too. You just like zip tie them on there, which is pretty awesome. There's a front and a back, but I couldn't find my Monster Energy sticker for it, and one didn't come with it, so that's in the cons category. Got the Bull Moose bars on there. Steel is real. We got the Hacksaw Jim Duggan colorway. Carbon wheels, Vantage 2s, which are fucking sick actually. The setup tubeless. My buddy Fergus helped organize this whole escapade, so shout out to
Ferg Dog.
We got rival cranks, keep it, you know, simple, whatever, beat them up. TRP on the brakes, which TRP is a company that I think is pretty underrated in cycling. They make some super fresh stuff and you just don't see it very often. Ram GX shifter, it's a 1x. And the saddle, Selle Italia SLR Superflow. I run these saddles on all the bikes I have. Cadence saddlebag with the backup tube just in case tubeless decides to lactate on us. Ergon Grips for just the fucking hours and hours on the bike in the gravel, rattle battle. They look a little silly, but they are awesome. They make up for how they look with how well they perform. Those are kind of an essential for a straight bar bike. Tires, Ritchey Shields, they're sick. I really love the fact that there's little like TR logos in the rubber. It's pretty cool. And they work great. They're not super knobby and they're not super smooth, so they're fantastic for gravel stuff. Cadence bottle, Everyday. Cadence bar tape has these cool bar ends. They're reflective, so can't go wrong with that. Richie seat posts and some badass Richie pedals too. I really dig that these ones are powder coated. Almost forgot, the fork on this thing is so sick. It's a Ritchey rigid carbon fiber fork. It's one of the coolest, toughest looking forks I've ever seen, and I'm pretty grateful that I get to shred one on this bike. Destroys on gravel, sluggy on the pavement, but what do you expect? That's the give and take of it. Snack time. Today I have a sandwich with hummus, salmon, cream cheese, cannabis, coconut oil, superfood. Oh, and kale too.